Good morning, YouTube. So we are just going to give you a very quick update on where we are in Fern and where we plan to be going next.
Fern Camper.
So right now we are actually parked at home. We are at base camp and we are assembling all sorts of little goodies for our next adventure. Clive and I got our new boots because our old ones were wearing thin. The last hiking boots I got were for Iceland. Definitely too warm for the summer hikes. So yeah, I'll have a little review of the Obo's footwear, the boot that I got. And also we picked up this fabulous wood grilling set. We will give you a quick update on that too. And so far we are about halfway packed up for our next adventure. We're heading north to Morro Bay and then sometime at Lake Kachuma, where I hope to do some hiking at both places with Thorn, and we'll see how far she gets. Sometimes she likes to go back. So the trailer is pulling well. Happier Camper has been wonderful to have so far. We've had almost no problems. There was a slight leak in the roof, which I mentioned before, which we can seal up pretty quickly. And she has not yet had her first wax, which we will do to make her super shiny in the next month or so. We have not used the kitchenette properly yet. I've not been hooked up to shore power. I've not taken her to a place other than sort of an off-grid adventure, and I'm a little bit wary of parking so close to so many other RVers. I'm sure it'll be fine, but like hooking into city electricity and the mains water, I don't know why that seems so scary to me. It just seems like going to BLM land and setting up in the middle of nowhere seems much more comfortable to me. So these are things I am going to learn how to do and learn how to get around and learn how to be comfortable with, because obviously I'm a great big ninny and am frightened of parking too close to large noisy generators. So when we take Fern out, we get a lot of comments, a lot of questions about where she came from and how much she costs, and why to get her instead of something else. So we fell in love with the Happier Camper, and we were not sure which small trailer we wanted to do. Obviously we needed it for 3 people, me, Clive, and Thorn. So there were some really sweet TNGs and little guys that could pull for 2 beds that we could pull on our small city car. And I like the idea of that, but I wanted to make sure all 3 of us could go adventuring together. So we were looking at slightly larger ones, but they were so heavy I did not want to get a giant SUV or heavy truck that was just a gas guzzler. That felt less like where we wanted to be in our camping adventure. So that kind of narrowed it down to things like the 12-foot, 13-foot bowlers, the casitas, and I think there's a couple of other really sweet things like the Scamp. And some people, some companies were doing like taking an old vintage Scamp and just refurbishing it and making it look gorgeous and beautiful. And I love those, but I could not actually get a hold of anyone to inquire on price. They just either seemed too far away or pick up only, or they were having a huge backlog. And I think it must have been on one of my Google searches I came across the Happier Camper and called them up, they were so quick to set up an appointment for us to have a look at the Happier Campers in their showroom, and we fell in love. We love the size, we love the lightweight trailer, and we love the ability to move everything around so easily, which is so important when you're in a small RV. You need to make every little space count. So we've got, you know, our queen size bed in the back, and there is a small single bed toward the front where Thorn hangs out. And as you know, it's got solar off-grid. There is the kitchenette, which can hold a few gallons of water. We could do our dishes here, and then we can also take the grill outside and cook up outside. We can do it inside. I just don't feel comfortable having flames inside the camper. Um, like if it was a heavy rain, I would lift up the back end behind me, and that would give us shelter while we cooked still outside and did not fill the whole RV with scents of whatever we were cooking, just in case it didn't come out very good. But that never happens. So ultimately, the Happier Camper was really good for us. We loved it immediately, especially the off-grid option. I love that the sun is giving me enough power for my lights and to charge up my devices if I have brought any. We haven't even tapped the solar yet, and there is only one 100-watt panel on the roof. We did get another panel we can take with us, but it is heavy and unwieldy. So this Morro Bay adventure will really give us a chance to test out the electricity in the off-grid system, even though we do have the option to hook up to the power at the RV parks while we're there. I'm going to try to avoid that until we've, you know, used a lot of the solar power. I don't know why, I just have a hang up about using too much electricity. And I like the idea that it's coming from the sun and coming to us free. Even though it's not free, it's pretty expensive to set up solar, and then of course if your battery drains, you've got to replace your drip. Anyway, all that stuff. So far, we have the kitchenette, we have the queen size bed, we have the single bed. All of the areas can translate and transfer and move and morph into so many different ways. Like we could have a super long table that would seat 6 people comfortably, and then still have a sofa at the side. If we wanted to put a TV in here, there would be room to put a TV either at the back behind me, I could move that around, or the front on that side where Thorn sleeps. That's not for us. We don't like watching TV when we're camping. We want to kind of feel like we're out in the middle of nowhere and live more basically and spend more time with each other. So I love that this can transfer around. I've moved my office into this back space here, and that's worked nice. I do write part-time. I write novels and short stories, and sometimes I write articles. It doesn't bring in a whole lot of money, but it's something that I love doing, and it is nice to have that trickle of royalties come in. But when I need to, and I need some quiet time, I can come here and I can just hash out whatever scene I need to for whatever project I'm on. And that's nice. I don't have to move everything too much. It's just a nice space to be in. The only thing that we did not option for, actually 2 things we did not option for: the shower. I like my solar shower that we have. It's just a little bag, and we fill it with water. It heats in the sun on its own in about 3 hours. It can get super hot. You just have to be careful it doesn't get too hot. If it's a cloudy day, but warm outside, it will kind of just get that kind of warm shower. It's not going to be hot, but it won't be cold. On a cold day, it will be cold. So there's no getting around that, but just don't shower on cold days. Or stop by a truck rest and get a hot shower there. It just, yeah, it makes more sense. But if you're hiking and you're hot and you've put that solar shower in the sun, you get a good 5-minute shower out of that bag of warm water. And I like that. I don't want to have to empty an extra gray tank. I'm happy with just my little sink here where I can wash my dishes and wash my hands. So we did not want that extra thing on the back. the less gadgets and extras for us, I feel the better, because the more high tech something is, often I feel the quicker it will break and need to be repaired. The toilet. Uh, you may have seen my really shaky, bad video of the
I don't want to use the word trying out because that's not quite what we're doing, but certainly reviewing the Go Anywhere toilet kit.
um, anyway, that's kind of what we're using. So we have a vintage, I guess it's a vintage porta potty, but it's got a wood seat, it's got a little bucket inside which we can line, and I don't like using the restroom inside the same space we eat and the same space that we sleep. So I know some of these trailers that are this small do have those toilets, and you can get one with Happier Camper. I just chose, well, Clive and I chose to not do that. We wanted something that, yeah, we could use in emergencies, but mostly we can set up a small tent just outside or just behind, and go there without having to wake everyone up, without smelling out the room, and without having our own personal waste so close to us. So, yeah. So ultimately, we are still very new to the Happier Camper. I absolutely adore it. I did not think I would love it this much. I knew I would like it, and I knew I would love the adventures that it would bring for us as a family, but I did not know that I would covet this this camper so much. It is so much fun, and it's so easy to tow. I've hitched and unhitched and used the leveling jacks. I've done it so much, and Clive and I can push it so easily up and down the driveway. Not up a slope, then we're like, no. But if it's even, fairly even, then it's so easy to maneuver and get into place. It's been really, really good. So the only problem we are having is getting enough time in our schedules where all three of us can go and have adventures. So we'll work on that. Thorn is just at her last day of school now for second grade, and we should have more time in the summer to go on our adventures and explore. It's more difficult for Clive. He does work full-time at the Queen Mary, and he also helps out with the whale watches at the aquarium. We are based near Long Beach, so we have a lot of activities around us that we can do. We don't need to escape and go camping, but we kind of do. Because we don't actually like living in the city. We like being out in the wilderness. We like it rural. But when you work in museums and in things like heritage and tourism, you kind of need to be based in a place where there are lots of people. And for us, this is a good balance. So Clive can get his history, because he loves his history, at the Queen Mary, where he can give fun ghost tours and he can give history tours and talk about the connection between the US and England, which is one of his big passions. And he can also go on whale watching tours and get paid for it, which is fabulous. And that brings in money for us as a family, which is fabulous too, because that helps us go on adventures with Fern. But getting time off when you work with the public, especially in busy summers, can be a little tricky. So fingers crossed we will get enough time as a family to get out this summer, but I know we'll make it work. And the more we get used to it, the more we can schedule just these little escapes, the better. So that's pretty much it. That's our update for Fern, and update for our family, and where we're going next. We're so excited about going to Morro Bay. And oh, quick. So when we got Fern, we were expecting her kind of early spring, and then she was going to be late, and then she was not late, a little bit late, but not as late as she was going to be. So we didn't really have a chance to plan anything or pre-book. So you might think that it's so easy. You have all these national parks around you in Southern California, which we do. and it's fabulous. But it's not as easy just to like that go out. You kind of need to plan. A lot of these parks have reservations that are booked out 3 months to 6 months, and sometimes, like in Zion National Park, it can even be up to 2 years, I have heard. So it was difficult for us to get some camping. As you see, even just Bolsa Chica Beach, which is just down the road from us, all the overnights had been booked out for 3 months in advance. So we just did that day trip. I was very pleased that there was a spot open in Morro Bay. We wanted to get 2 nights, but there's only 1 night available there. And then we had to look around after that. That's where we found Lake Kachuma, and there were more nights available, but yeah, we were on our way home. We have to get back to work. And yeah, so 2 nights, 1 in Morro Bay, 1 in Lake Kachuma. I will leave reviews for both of those and give you updates on how things are going with us in our first overnighter with Fern. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you again so much for watching, and really enjoy your comments, really enjoy your interactions, and really appreciate them. So thank you so much, and we will catch you later. Keep on camping.